Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is BMT coming at you again. I am here to chat it up with you guys and talk with y'all. Just a light spoof. We're doing comic games and media. We usually go over that stuff. And I was sitting down watching I think I watched like three movies today. You know what I'm saying? I had to catch up on some movies. I usually go watch my animes, and I haven't talked about animes in a while, and I have to get back to that. I probably got to get back to my roots when it comes to talking about anime and games and movies. But I wanted to tackle the concept of I was looking out on the Fire Stick, and I was looking at the Equalizer. I was checking it out, and I was delving in and seeing what it was about. Now originally the original Equalizer was with Denzel Washington. And as I was looking at this one that came out, this one that they showed during the Super Bowl, and then they went over and showed it. This time it was with Queen Latifah. Now Queen Latifah, she is an actress, a singer, an artist. She's done a lot of stuff. And looking at Queen Latifah in this role, I was like, "What's going on?" Like I was trying to muscle through it and see it through as I was watching Queen Latifah take on the role of, I guess, being a secret spy. Um, I'm just toughing it through, man. I got Aura Gel. Actually, your stream did very well. It did very well. But I was watching the contingency of how um I'm seeing. I was watching Queen Latifah in The Equalizer, and as I was watching it, it was interesting. But don't get me wrong, I have watched plenty of movies in my time with women as heroines. I've enjoyed watching Supergirl, the movie, the original '80s movie Supergirl. That's when she battled the witch. I enjoyed watching Supergirl. My favorite heroine, heroine. Let me try to say that. Not the drug. Female hero will always be Lucy Lawless, Xena Warrior Princess. Judge me for whatever y'all may say. I enjoyed watching Xena Warrior Princess. I thought it was good. It was very interesting. Although I still don't understand how the heck does that chakra work. She throws a chakra. It cuts everything. It cuts rope. It cuts steel. It even kills gods and demons. But somehow she throws it at herself. It never cuts her hands off. I don't even know how that thing works. But somehow I would always be like, oh, she's gonna throw the chakra. And then it would like cut two things after that. She got a chakra that can break into two things and she could cut two more things. And then I was like, okay, I know how it works. Then Gabriel and her start getting some kind of yeah, like okay, you dug the Tomb Raider movie. And hang on, let me drop the link for him. Because in looking at it, we're now in a position where we're going to be seeing more movies and shows, whereas to you're going to see more movies and shows as to in which I'm seeing women in like dominatory positions of like you know taking down multiple people. Like I was watching this movie with Ryan Reynolds where they were like secret espionage agents, and somehow the chick on in the film, she was like some kind of Splinter Cell. The film Nikita could kill like 14 dudes in a room. Her boyfriend, yeah, he was like a hitman, but she would have her count would be like 24 to his like 5. And I was like, wait, what? Now I get it, y'all saying BMT, are you sexist? Are you being masculine? I'm just looking at the weight of how was it that literally a woman that only weighed 140 pounds, probably less than that, was beating men that are 240 and 280 and 300 pounds, like with chopping them in their neck, like kicking them in their kneecaps and stuff. It was amazing, and her boyfriend was like struggling fighting him, and I was like, "What?" Man, and I was like, "Michael Bay, you piece of crap! Who? How did you write this movie?" I like a good movie. I like a good show. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no problem against it. I'm just, I'm just like, hey, sometimes I would like some decency of common sense, or just, not even common sense, just that it's like the women are becoming more so of the chauvinistic, goddamn dominant part. I don't know. The men are just like watered down and weak and emotional. But we're joined here by Clever Cav and Trellerhood. Welcome. We're talking about, is it a good idea replacing fundamental roles for culture shock?
I don't even know if it's culture shock. I think what it is it's a an agenda. It is agenda driven, and what it is it's the idea that it promotes some sort of equality. It's glass
PC
ceiling.
politics and movies.
Yeah, it's pushing an equality narrative that doesn't truly exist. It's the idea that all people can be equal except when it's not convenient. For example, you were talking about Xena, which is one of my favorite series of all time too.
Same
You
here.
know, I Hercules and Xena, I own all the box sets. I know what you're talking about. By the way, with the chakra, the reason why is because she's trained to use that particular weapon, and it requires a very special amount of hand-eye coordination. That's how she can catch arrows and swords out of thrown knives, things like that. When she's
You're
catching
ruining
the
my
chakra,
childhood. I thought she
that,
had special powers.
no, it is. It was part of her special training. Remember, she was trained as she was a villain at first. People forget. Xena was a Hercules villain
Right.
who
She
then,
actually kidnapped her partner.
yeah,
You
and then
know,
she became an anti-hero once her popularity soared. She was like the Steve Urkel of Hercules. You know,
Yep, yep.
it,
No,
but
that's true. That's true.
but we've noticed this change. Like for example, in a lot of places, and you get pushback if you mention it. Like for example, I'm a big Doctor Who fan,
I've never been a
and
big, I've never really got into that.
Doctor Who is a great series. It's also a great series for young boys because it shows a strong, powerful male role model who is strong because he's intelligent. It's kind of like Picard versus Kirk when you get to Star Trek.
Now,
He's
Yeah.
an intel.
Doctor Who is not human. He's not human.
No, he's a Time Lord. Arguably the last of his kind. Depends on what era. They waffle on that because of bigger storyline arcs. But essentially, what he is, he's a renegade. But he's not a human. But he has always been male. And up until recently, every regeneration, because what they had a smart idea that whenever an actor gets tired of playing Doctor Who, you don't want to just throw somebody else in. So they came up with this kind of a smart idea that his species, when they are mortally wounded, they can use their time energy and they morph into a new body. Like it's a regeneration thing, kind of like, Deadpool or Wolverine before they had the idea for it. But you use all of your energy and you regenerate, but it forces your body to change into a new form, but generally something similar. So it's always been a male. Sometimes, the hair and whatever changed, but it was a good explanation for why the one actor left and a new actor showed up. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
I think that's beautiful. I think that's brilliant because for me, I believe if an actor holds a role for too long, they'll forever be stuck or seen as just that role. Shout out to goddamn Harry Potter, Steve Urkel.
Yep.
Yep, it's a curse. It's a curse. Heck,
well,
dude,
it works in reverse because in the case of Doctor Who, twice now we've seen two Doctor Who actors who really popularized the show and made it huge, and then tried to parlay that into like Hollywood success. The first major one I could think of is Christopher Eccleston, who revived the entire Doctor Who. Went off the air for about, I don't know, 5, 6, 8 years in the late 90s, and it was on long hiatus, and then they brought it back and they rebooted basically the series sort of with Christopher Eccleston in 2005. And it was so huge and he got so popular, he was like, deuces after the first season. He's like, I'm out and I'm going to Hollywood, because he's like, I'm getting Hollywood roles. And what did he get? He played Destro in that first G.I. Joe movie.
That movie was good regardless of what you think.
Which one? The first one or the second?
The first one.
I like
the one with The Rock, or the first one?
Anything without The Rock was good. Anything without The Rock.
I liked the first one.
Well, the problem with the first one for me is that it wasn't as much G.I. Joe as it was guys in mech suits, because it didn't have G.I. Joe iconography. Whereas the second one,
what did you want them to do? Shoot laser beams and miss like 1,000?
No, I wanted them to look like what they're supposed to.
Dude,
everybody they're trying to modernize it, man. That's fair.
But the thing is, when you have G.I. Joe and the only characters that you can identify as G.I. Joe are Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes, and everybody else in the movie can just be Army Ranger number 1 Joe Bob Briggs.
Let's give it. Look, let's be fair here. Okay, now G.I. Joe the cartoon, there really wasn't a whole lot of detail involved in the drawing of those characters.
Right.
Yeah, but you knew who they were.
Dude,
when you look at the cartoon.
Listen, I was happy to see one Mexican and one black dude, and like everybody else, I just knew there was a Duke, a redhead chick, and that was
it. But the problem is, which episode of G.I. Joe do you recall that had the best mech suit? Oh, that's right, none of them. Which action figure did you buy that had a mech suit?
Mech suits didn't exist yet. That's because they didn't exist in the sense that they do now back in the 80s.
G.I. Joe was a multinational military force. It had nothing to do with superpowered mech suits.
Yeah,
that was Michael Bay and his Transformers nonsense, which is another area where I can't stand the Transformers movies, except for Bumblebee.
But see,
you're crazy.
Here's the thing about it. Where were they going to find like 70 machily fit 6?
You didn't need to. Yes, it's like every episode of G.I. Joe, right, had focused on granted, these were all 30-minute commercials for the toys, but they focused on specific individuals, and that was in the 80s when the writing for cartoons was primetime TV quality. Why? Because what happened is when they started making these cartoons, which were basically 30-minute advertisements, they said, we don't care about the script. We just need this guy and this guy that we're trying to sell in an episode, and this guy and this guy. So when you look at Transformers,
you have to have a plot, and that would have been.
So what they did was they went down to the local community colleges, and they looked for English lit students. Hey, you want to write stories? Hey, how would you like to make $200 a script, right? And they were like, cool. What do I need to write about?
But again,
we don't care.
Again, I'm going to push the look, they were trying to use, even in the cartoon, advanced weaponry, but they were going by what they had available at the time as ideas for advanced weaponry. When they
Right.
made the movie, they had to modernize the movie with today's
No,
weaponry.
no,
Yes,
no, no,
they
no,
did.
no. They
Yes,
didn't
they
use
did.
they didn't use advanced weaponry. If you look
Yeah,
back at GI
What?
Joe,
What?
they
That's
everything
all
was
you saw was red lasers flying
Dude,
everywhere.
yeah, but no, the
no,
lasers
Kev, you're
were
holding on to
because
the
they couldn't
past.
have bullets.
Kev,
That was
right, but we're looking at it now where they modernize it. Listen, this was a whole new G.I. Joe movie. First of all, Duke didn't have no black partner that was flying aircraft and shit and doing all
yeah, he
this stuff.
did. You had Roadblock, you had Doc, you had
No.
you had a number of. I mean,
This
Roadblock was
this was an up to date G.I. Joe to show that hey, that we had it where blacks and white people and Hispanic and the Hispanic dude was the tech guy, not the dude just shooting a gun. You had the black guy who was a
yes,
officer,
but you
and
you
all
had
that
all of
shit.
those characters in GI Joe
We still,
already.
we still don't even know what Snake Eyes rank is. Does Snake Eyes even have a damn rank? Like I don't even think
He's
they
a
get.
see. That's
He's
what
an
I was getting
assassin.
to.
Oh
No,
God, what rank
he's
is that?
he's Special Forces Commando.
Oh God,
Everybody
he don't have a-
everybody in GI Joe. That's what I'm saying has a parallel. Even their weapons were real world archetypes that in the cartoon
You ain't
fired
going to see
lasers.
Special Forces Commando running around with fucking katanas.
Well, that was
really
initially Snake Eyes didn't have katanas. That's the thing. See, that's I tell you got to go back and look, man. Initially, he had two Uzis and a grenade, and he had a knife, a combat knife.
This is up to date GI Joe, which was more stylish. Like us, no offense, but everybody wanted to see what the fuck the ninjas were about. That's honestly,
well, yeah, because Snake Eyes, and Storm Shadow are two of the and they got them right though.
They did because they actually have backstory together.
Right.
Yeah. And they're it's easy to get their iconography right. Storm Shadow is a ninja. You got a guy in a ninja suit, you know.
Now we have it. Now we're caught at a cross between, because now we're looking at it where the roles for heroes and heroines and fundamental roles are now being changed for culture shock. Again, that cannot be overlooked because literally,
if I see a man playing the role of Rogue, I'm going to be mad.
Well, here's the thing. See, because you won't see that. That's the problem. What you'll see is you'll see Wolverine turn into a woman. You'll see everybody.
We already have technically. If you watch the last movie, Logan.
Well, you have X1, and she's his daughter in the comics, so that makes sense that they would bring her in some form. But they didn't bring in his son, by the way.
Come on,
who's a villain? But he's more of a villain. But I mean,
which one, the gay one or his other one?
No, the gay one is dead, by the way. But he was a clone. He wasn't the original.
They'll bring him back. Again, this is why I'm saying when it comes to PC, like I think this is why movies are going to dirt now. Because honestly,
they do suck.
Like right now, they're arguing. They're arguing about like the next Queen of England movie where she's going to be a black woman. The Queen is going to be a black woman instead of just being a white woman. And I'm like, wait, now why?
But they still can't get the fucking ethnicity right in movies like Gods of Egypt.
Listen.
That wasn't an American Hollywood movie, and that's the thing. We do have to look at things from other countries' perspectives where they don't see this. This is why the idea of a black James Bond is discussed, but it's not a major issue for them. Like the British really, in fact, they want Idris Elba to be Bond more than we do, mainly because
they sent him death threats.
No, some people did, but for the most part, most Brits don't care. They've done polls on it. Most Brits just don't care because
I don't care.
Idris Elba is a national treasure, and he is British.
But there are black British people,
right? Yeah, we get that, but I'm just saying that why would see? Here's the thing. This is my contention. Why do you particularly have to make 007 a white, rich, aristocrat white kid a black guy when you can literally go choose between other 007s? There are many others.
Yeah, there's other double O's. As a matter of fact, there are multiple. There are actually a couple of black. There are 12. I'm a big James Bond fan. Just to preface this, so if I go off the rails, someone's going to have to stop me because I'll go for hours.
Stopping you already.
We're going to stop. So, but the thing about it is, they could have grabbed. They could grab another 007 number and say, okay, we're going to show another number. I do not see a black 007 walking in a room full of white people and just blending in. What you gonna pull out a Rolex?
What you talking about, Willis?
A Cadillac? Like, no, stop. Like, you're not doing that.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's
come
been my.
On. You know
that
damn
was my
well.
Argument.
Look, you know damn well if Denzel played 007, he would smooth talk his way right up in that room.
No,
well, that was my argument why Bond should never change.
No.
And I agree. Bond should never change for that reason. It's like
why am I the one sitting here advocating for the black man against two black men?
Well, no. Okay, see, I'm okay with Idris being the character if they just want to, since it's based in modern times now. But old school Bond is a relic of like the 80s and 70s, well, mainly the 50s Cold War. And Joe is right. It's kind of hard to have a super spy that cannot blend in. I think you and I discussed this, Hood. And no, whoever posted that is incorrect. 007 is not. Well, the 007 is a code. James Bond is not. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. It's just Hooded one saying that's just code. Yeah.
007. Yeah, 007.
It's just a code number.
Those are codes. However, James Bond himself
is a person.
That is a person that belongs to a rich, he belongs to a rich aristocrat family. He just broke off from what they do to like.
Well, no, his parents died, and then he was put in an orphanage.
Well, but he's still.
So what you're saying is it'd be like the equivalent of putting a poor black man in the role of Laura Croft from Tomb Raider.
Good luck with that one.
Well, no, it would be like putting a black woman in the role of Laura Croft just to put a black woman there, as opposed to understanding the history of the character. She can't come from.
We got to throw the poor part in there too, because Laura Croft comes from an aristocratic family with wealth.
We'll take a Hispanic woman, or no, take an Hispanic man and call him Larry Croft, and then try to make that shit work. And then let's see how far we get with that.
Well, what they'll do, I'll tell you what they'll do. They'll say that she was adopted by the Croft family, so she remembers her poor.
He's not lying, though. That I could see that being the backstory.
Oh God, then it would make no damn sense. Who had time to adopt her?
Well, you know what? Your picture shows an image of the Equalizer, that new series, which, by the way, is terrible because that's one of I'm a big espionage person. I love James Bond. I love the Equalizer. I love Alias, for example, which I noticed nobody's talking about rebooting that with a dude instead of Jennifer Garner. But
I wasn't a big fan of the Supergirl series.
It started off good until Supergirl started off good until it started going into all kind of political justice and started talking about it. I could even deal with the lesbian stuff.
Well, that's even remember when they made Captain Marvel a woman?
Well, no.
Man, they just.
Well, no, they didn't make Captain Marvel's been a woman forever. She's been Carol Danvers forever.
I thought Captain Marvel
no problem
was
with
a man.
The
original.
Marvel was a man.
Yeah, Marvel was a man, and he wasn't really. He was there for all of 6 years in the comics before he moved on. Then Carol Danvers took over, because that's where Rogue got her powers. Is Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers.
Now
she touched her and absorbed her cosmic power.
Now,
one thing. Hold on. Before that, though, the thing about Captain Marvel that you should be upset about is the fact that they have this Captain Marvel in the MCU as the first, and she's not. The black woman that's in the WandaVision show, Monica Rambeau, was Captain Marvel first. She was the previous female Captain Marvel.
But no, that's true. That's true. She was the previous
But
one.
for their movie universe, they decided to go with the second, which Carol Danvers, admittedly, is the more popular because she's been the most current one for like the past 15 years. But it's just the fact that they didn't. If they're going with Origins, if they wanted to be PC, why didn't they go? Because they know they Disney thinks they're smart, but we can see through that their PC bullshit too.
I don't think people like okay. And also, fun fact: Captain Marvel is actually she outranks Captain America because she's a major. He's a captain. That was a fun fact that they had a
Yeah,
conversation about that. Where literally they said, "Well, we'll see who gets to run Shield," and they were like, "Well, Captain America, you're right." And she was like, "No, no, no. I'm actually a major. I
Well,
actually run
technically,
Shield."
isn't Captain Marvel like the most powerful superhero
Nope.
in the
It
Marvel
actually
only
universe?
is.
only
It,
only only in the MCU.
it,
Oh, and I mean, only in
no, it's not.
the
Don't even give me
movie
that.
only in the movie universe.
Hell
She's
no.
not more powerful than the Hulk. She's not more
Yeah.
powerful than the
Listen,
Sentry.
listen. I'm going to say it like this. They all, when we look at the MCU universe, then we're going to get that shit to goddamn Wanda. Because Wanda almost killed fucking Thanos by herself.
Yes, that's another character that is way more powerful. But only in, like I said, only in the comics.
Now, so if we're looking at it, Wanda almost did it. Captain, she got one hit off and she got punched one time in the jaw. And I was like, wow, all that damn hype for nothing. You got one shot it out of the fight, and that was it. Goddamn,
Well,
even
they did
Steve
that.
left
They
that
did that
fight.
on purpose because after her movie, everybody saw what they were attempting to do and complained, and Marvel had to throw a fast one. Okay, she's not going to come in and save the day because that's what everybody predicted.
It wouldn't have made no sense. It wouldn't have made no sense. Um, due to the pompous arrogance that she had. Um, I'm sorry, she was too arrogant as fuck.
Well, not
And
only that, but she had just showed up on the scene as far as the movies. We've watched all these other characters go through 3, 4, 5, 6 films building their characters. She gets one movie and then comes in and beats the hero. Nobody was going to.
well, I
No,
mean, if they're gonna throw out, well, she's the most powerful Avenger, and then I'm be like, well, shit, how the hell do you overpower Vision or goddamn Wanda? Then we need to call it. You're definitely not the smartest. You can't be. And I mean, if you want to say we got a talent,
yeah,
so that gets called into question on that kind of level. Um, and this is
and they
and like I
scaled.
said,
You notice they scaled down the Hulk in order to make her allowed that claim because the Hulk technically would be the most powerful as far as raw power, and
right.
he's brilliant when he's Bruce Banner.
That is true. It's the thing about it is, and that's why when we bring about people are replacing fundamentals in movies for shock culture. Listen, I had just as much respect for Red Sonja. Shout out to you, baby. Just like I have respect for He
Conan.
Man, He Man and Conan. Well, I was gonna say He Man first, but I also respected Conan. Shout out to you, Arnold. You definitely did that. I don't think they're ever. I don't think they could ever do a possible. Uh, that last Conan movie was bullshit. Whatever that Aryan dude with the disgusting eyebrows. I think that was Aquaman. I think that was the guy who
Yes,
played
it's
Aquaman.
first A. And no, sir, that was Jason Momoa,
Sorry,
and that version
no,
of Conan
sorry.
is the best accurate version that's ever been
Which
put
one?
on screen.
I'll be talking about Jason Momoa. That shit was horrible.
No, yes, that's the. If you read the books, the Conan books, brother, I got every Conan novel from the original First Prince by Robert Howard. That is my favorite literary character. I have the leather bound edition of the first works of Conan. Trust me, that story was lifted straight from books, as opposed to Arnold is iconic because we remember Arnold for one as the greatest action superhero that we've ever had on screen, but because those movies are part of our childhood. But as far as Conan goes, that movie was 100% accurate as far as the character.
I think
Yeah, whoever
because
was in the chat is right. Wanda is one of the most, if not, I mean, she's up there, one of the most powerful
well,
beings in the Marvel universe. She
yeah,
transformed the entire universe to her will her own reality when she lost her mind. The entire universe.
Well, yeah, that's why WandaVision is so pinnacle. Um, because literally, uh, after that, there will be certain climatic changes. Um, um,
Yeah,
now
that's how
when we
they're
take
gonna bring in the X-Men and the mutants. Now that they own it, they bought it from Fox. They can bring all that stuff over.
do they? I don't know if they really have it from Fox. I think they have the rights to it because
No, they
Fox.
no they bought Fox. They bought the whole studio.
We'll see how long that's gonna last. But Fox
Disney.
don't do that.
That's another
Yeah,
show for another day about how is it dangerous for Disney to own all of these studio properties because essentially they're building a monopoly on the film industry and without competition we're only going to get, I mean, that's why we're going to see like Avengers until the end of time, and they're going to be making Star Wars movies every other year until we die because we're not going to get anything else other than what is specifically profitable. But what about smaller movies? What about, you know, movies without agenda but have a director's insight, original stories? That's why they keep going back and Disney's pulling
well,
up all this
you'll
stuff
have
like
to just
Willow.
you'll have to well, you'll have to just do a low budget movie and work your way up, which it can be done. You just have to work your way up. That's what, and listen, if people wanna sell out, then that's what they'll have to do. Mind you, Blade was a low budget movie. It definitely damn sure was, and somehow that movie beat everything. I don't know.
Well, it started the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Basically, it gave way. It showed that they could do these movies, and then you got X-Men because of the popularity of Blade, and then you got Spider-Man, which blew the doors off everything, and then everything else came after.
I'm tired of this young kid. I really am tired of this young kid because he's just annoying as
Tom
fuck.
Holland.
I don't care for Tom. I really don't. Give me back Toby. I can
Well,
do it.
Tom is.
Toby,
Have you seen him in
Toby,
anything else? He's
Toby.
actually
Yeah,
a really good actor. It's just
yeah, he
his
is.
Spider-Man, and I know why they do it. They always, if you ever notice, they always go back to the beginning of Spider-Man when he's young and in high school, rather than seasoned college age or post-college Peter Parker when he's just trying to live his life, and when they show he's a genius and all these other things. It's always high school because I know it is. It's to grab the kiddies'
Hooded
imaginations.
one. I knew you were gonna say Garfield was the best. Garfield. You would have to explain that one to me because Garfield to
No,
me was garbage. Like I hated that
Garfield's
guy.
movies. Garfield was garbage. Garfield's movies were garbage. Peter Parker. I mean, the moment I saw Garfield walk out as Peter Parker and he looked like the coolest kid in school instead of the nerd was when it's not believable that he would be picked on and bullied.
Like that
He
to see. Yeah, but
he
see,
looks
the
like
thing.
the starting quarterback for the high school varsity
And
team.
see, and that's the thing about it for me, like when it comes to the culture shock, because it's like when people are trying to make nerds cool, or like we're like, oh, like the nerd is always this guy. The reason why Peter or Spider-Man is the pinnacle, will always be the pinnacle hero in Marvel, the staple, the god, the Godfather goat, is because Peter Parker has the shittiest life as a superhero. He literally, bar none, has the shittiest life
Well,
because no,
he's a normal guy trying to survive in New
oh
York.
god, no, he's not a normal guy.
Well,
It can't be.
outside of his powers, he's a normal. He's a normal guy who struggles. He's not a billionaire like Tony Stark. He's not a well-respected genius like Bruce Banner was. He's not a god like Thor. He's a guy who has to work pizza jobs to survive.
The thing about it is this, like, and the thing about it is, when I saw the Andrew Garfield, the cool Peter riding the skateboard, the slick hair, you know what I'm saying? Taking shots of girls and stuff. Like, let's compare the two things. when Toby did Peter, he was nervous trying to get a picture of asking Mary Jane for a picture. He was nervous. He never spoke up. He was just like, "Can I?" Like he was quiet about, "Can I get a picture?" Versus the Andrew, cool culture guy, he was like, "Hey, let me get a picture of you." Oh yeah, and he's out there answering questions and standing up to bullies. That's not a Peter Parker. Peter Parker, what's going on? True. Peter Parker was just he was he, the reason why the Spider-Man was so iconic because Spider-Man did what Peter was afraid to do. Was actually that's why like one of the things about it was everybody knows Peter Spider-Man for talking trash. Does anybody know why a Spider-Man talks trash? Because it helps him build the confidence to keep fighting
Yes.
in the fight. That's the reason why.
It's nervous banter. It's not like Deadpool who's doing it because he's just a douche.
Right,
It's Spider-Man trying to. It's like how people laugh during tense situations when there's nothing funny going on. It's a nervous reaction.
right, and I think I forgot what superhero actually brought that up. Like, why do you talk so much? And he explained it. I think somebody else explained it. I think it was a Black Widow. Is that he's nervous through the fights. He's just talking himself through the fights, so that way he's able to do what he's doing. Other than that, he's freaked out. So that's always been interesting. The thing about it is, and thank everybody for coming to the chat. Like I said, we're just having geek talk about the culture. Now, what I worry about is listen, I'm fine. Like I said, again, me and Kev are fine with women roles in movies and culture. I think it loses its validity because see, Red Sonja was a strong hero, but around Conan, she was like, "That's my man." Like shit. Like I'm back to woman's side. Like you know what I'm saying. And I know nowadays, if Red Sonja we had a movie today, they'll be like, "Why is she acting like so weak and effeminate?" Oh man. Well,
Well,
Red, she
this is
respected
highlighted
strong men.
in the biggest of movies and you and I talked about this. I think maybe off stream before was look at Star Wars,
Uh-huh.
the original three movies, right? You
Right.
have everything you need in that formula. You got a young boy coming from nowhere, which is every man's dream. That the hero of many faces. It's the hero's journey.
Right.
We all live our normal lives, and but we dream of something grander. And Luke dreamed. He went out. There was action. He met some different characters. They personalities. The great evil defeated the evil, and there was a little bit of romance. There was Princess Leia, who was a powerful character of her own. She wasn't. I don't need no rescuing, but she was also a woman, and you know what I mean. So she could hold her own, but she was also fine. They were fine with those roles. Now look at the new Star Wars movies. There's no real romance in any of those films. That
They had the
manufactured
Asian
bullshit
girl,
between
Finn.
Rey and Kylo in the third movie made no sense narratively. They just threw it in because they saw they saw the
Well,
they saw the feedback.
Finn gets the Asian girl. Finn gets the
No, he didn't
Asian girl.
because he dumped her by the third movie. Third movie,
Wait,
it's like remember in Rise of Skywalker, she shows up for like 5 seconds and she's like, "Hey," and he's like, "Not on this one, buddy." He gives her like a pat on the shoulder and it's like out.
yeah, but they make out and everything.
Only in the second movie when they were trying to deviate Finn from Rey. Because if you watch the first movie, Force Awakens, there's definitely some bonding between Rey and Finn. Remember, they fought in the snow. They cared about each other. They had been through so much, and then they transitioned away. And you can see they tried to circle back to that in the third movie because in the third movie he's always going to Rey like, "Look, I need to say something." You can tell there's something that was left there, and he never tells Rey. Remember, he's like, "Rey, I need to tell you something. Rey, I need to say something," and we never find out what that something is.
I peel at it like first off, to me all three Star Wars movies were garbage. Like they were trash. Probably I'll give the first one the best. The newest one I'll probably give that the most credence. Um, no, true. We're talking and bringing out about how movies are changing and conforming to culture shock. I like I said, I read the Reddit and the Twitter backlash of seeing a black person as the main. Well, mind you, both of them were the main character. You're looking at it from two sides of and Ray and
Finn.
Finn. Just like no different if I'm not sure if any of you ever played Xbox, it would be like Gears of War, where instead of there being a white predominantly male figure lead character like Marcus Phoenix, you had his son's best friend, who was also a lieutenant, as well as his other friend. She becomes an officer, and she's a Hispanic. Them two are now the main characters in the Gears of War franchise, which is like, holy crap. Like, people did not know how to take to that. Seeing those two, a black man and a Latin woman, were the main pejorative characters of the basis.
Of
It took a
Gears
while for
5.
me. Yeah, it took a while for me when I played Gears of War 5 to get used to that. And I never knew just how ingrainedly uh, in depth or um what's a good word for it? How it took me a while. Mind you, I was glad to see something different, but I was like, damn, I must have just used to just playing as a white male character. Even when it came to me playing as Master Chief, and mind you, we know John is a white man that is 7 foot tall, but I should have been more happy playing with the black Spartan, who literally was just as good, actually. If not, he probably was better because his main pejorative goal was to bring in Master Chief, which in the end he beats Master Chief and says, "Listen, I could have killed you many times, but I respect you and want to bring you in." And I was more so angry at the fact that why are you beating up Master Chief? You know what I'm saying? But I should have been like,
Well, but the
oh,
difference there is what I can forgive those for is that they they didn't replace the existing character
right,
just to replace the character with somebody with they didn't change Marcus Phoenix into Marsha Phoenix. They Marcus Phoenix still exists. He just had his story arc, and it's a new story with different characters. The same thing with in Halo. You still have Master Chief. You just have this other Spartan who exists in the same universe. And there's lots of Spartans. It's just John's the luckiest. That was his
yeah,
thing. If you read the books, what separated that Spartan, because the other thing with Spartans is we don't know how many there actually are, or if Master Chief,
they
they
never,
all carry that same
yeah,
rank.
they never tell you what how many there are, and they all have a tweak or an ability that each one is prone to.
Yeah, and John's is luck. And if they when they die, they're never listed as killed in action. They're only listed as missing in action. So that's why no one ever knows how many there actually are or where they are or if it's even the same. Because there's that theory that the Master Chief we play with, everybody refers to him as Master Chief. We assume that it's John in every one because of Cortana. But we don't know if that's part of also the that special operations. They just refer to all of them. I mean, the books tell us, but in the games, we can be playing it, especially when you play multiplayer, you're actually playing as the other Spartans that exist, supposedly.
Hmm. I think one of the things about it, and one of the things about it, I always when I showed the picture of the Equalizer with Denzel Washington and
Queen
and
Latifah.
now and Queen Latifah.
And
If
you
you watch
forgot Ed Woodard, that you forgot the original actor from the 80s TV show that both are based on.
thank you for bringing that up. I'm glad.
He was an
This is why
MI6. He was MI6 agent who retired in New York. You remember, it's an old show in the 80s. It was awesome. One of my favorite shows. He was a white guy, and Ed Woodard. He was an older white guy like Michael Caine, And his whole thing was, he used his MI6. It was like basically what would James Bond do if he was retired? Help people.
I could dig that. I could dig that. Because when I look at it, and I'm pulling out the precedence of it, like because I'm looking at as I was watching the new Equalizer, which I couldn't finish all of it. It was just too much for me. It was just too much for me. I could only stomach through so much because I understood the precedent of when I was watching it with Denzel, or even learning of the retired spy. Like Denzel, yeah, you could see him fighting the guys and stuff, but there wasn't really an aggression type of fight, like not like some of a Jason Statham type of fight or like a young martial art. It was more so of like I'm getting old, so I have to calculate my moves. You get what I'm saying, Kev? Like he was like I'm not up there, so I have to be smart on
Well,
how I
no,
do this.
that was his thing. That version, he was a meticulous planner. If you noticed everything he did outside, he's a very organized individual. Almost, they say that he might actually be on a kind of a spectrum because he's very OCD.
Right. Now, this one, when
In
it
the
comes to Queen,
time, she's different.
okay, what'd you say? You're breaking up.
His character is like an OCD planner. Everything he did, he planned meticulously, and he foresees each reality, and he makes judgments. It's like a high functioning autism to an extent. That's how he functions. That's how if you look at what he does when he's not fighting, it's organizing things, it's putting things into its place, it's planning.
You know, there you go. What was the guy who counted seconds? What was the guy that counted seconds while fighting?
Yeah, that was the equalizer. That was the Denzel equalizer because he planned every. His thing was he was very meticulous. So when he walked in, he would start his watch.
his watch.
Remember the
He
clock,
started his watch.
and
That's what I'm
and
saying. Like,
yeah, because he was planning every step of what he was about to do. And that's why, if you look, before he fights anyone, he does a thing where he glances around the room and he sees each individual thing. And when that fight breaks out, watch again. He'll it's like he'll be talking to a person, but he'll be glancing over and it'll show a guy drinking and it'll see the shot glass sitting on the table and it'll see a bottle over here and it'll focus on a chair for a second. And in that fight, each one of those objects will get used immediately in a specific move to end the fight.
right. So he counted and he clocked everything in a particular way. Now, when it comes to the Queen Latifah, now this is my thing. Now, like I said, if you want to go, you can go watch it. You can go support it. I am fine with that. And watching the Queen Latifah, first of all, yeah, child, Queen Latifah, girl, you are too old to be doing this damn shit. We can see it. Like you are.
Yeah,
I was. I was there for you when you did the movie Taxi. I was there for you when you did um salon or barbershop or whatever damn thing you were doing, or when you got LL Cool J. I was there for you. Hell, I was even there for you when you was a manager in Star or Honey or whatever. But this right, I can't go. I cannot go with you. You do not give off the suave energy
of
of
an agent.
an age. You just don't. I'm sorry. You're
Well,
there's no way. No, heck
here's where
no.
they went wrong. I'll tell you where they went wrong. Focusing it as an action series rather than an espionage one. Because if she was just like the 1980s version, where he was more of a, like I said, like a James Bond, but without he could fight, he could shoot, but he wasn't an action guy because he was an older man.
Right.
But he had people on his team that would do that.
Right.
If
That's
she
what I'm
had a
saying.
guy who was like an ex-SEAL who was working with her, it would work better.
They might need to get in touch. The holiday. Thank you for that, young Link. Like they might need to get in touch with the people who do goddamn CIS and them damn CIS series of Law and Order and shit. At least them older dudes, them older stars, they go get like, hey, I used to be an ex Marine or ex soldier or ex this and that. They'll go get people like that, and so the older dude, he's not doing things. He's fighting 14 dudes, and somehow he can keep up with them. Which I'm always skeptical when I see the female who's literally a butterweight somehow fighting a big trucker dude and throwing him over a rail and beating him up, and I'm like, chick, this dude literally is picking up like trucker tires and somehow you're managing to throw him and separate him from the fight. Like, come on. And then you get out with just not even a dirt. Like, I even hate when Vin, the Vin Diesel, he gets an accident. Like every woman in the Fast and Furious series is a goddamn 10. I have never seen a fat chick in the Fast and Furious series.
That's not what those movies are about. That's not the culture. You don't have that in the culture.
Well, damn it. Well, I need fat culture or body shaming culture to body shame them hot Brazilian models and put some fat people and some people that I can identify with in the Fast Furious movie. Ain't no
No,
way
because
everybody drives a goddamn car.
if you're in the car culture and you're a street racer and you're into that scene, you never go to no street racing scene and see no plump people, even the men. Because who's going to fit in them little Japanese cars to drive around if you overweight?
Listen, go look on YouTube and look at these people trying to show off these cars. These are usually fat people who are who literally stay either to themselves. They got good money and they spend their money on.
Well, hold on. You're mixing cultures because car culture, like people showing off their whips where they're driving a caddy that they've decked out, is different from street racing where everybody's driving Mazda RX-7s and little, Acuras that have been souped up. You ain't fitting some of these beefy folks in those Acura.
Okay, so we gotta have the small little people. I guess that's their world. I guess y'all, please do me a favor. Go watch race TV. It's like part of Discovery Channel where they always driving fast cars. Listen, and I want y'all to go look at the people that are driving these expensive, fast as hell cars that you could probably never pronounce, and they will look like me and Kev. Like Kevin's bigger than me, but they're like around our size, and they're driving cars like it's no hot slick hair person. It's just somebody with raggy hair and ripped up jeans and smells like goddamn avocados and toast and jelly. And that's the person driving a rich ass car looking like Elon Musk's adopted brother. That's the people driving those kind of cars. And so back to what I'm saying. So in hearing that Queen Latifah is somehow fighting, grown men at her age, I am highly surprised because I'm like, one, if y'all are truly her friends or her people, y'all would have told her, listen, Queen, this is not the move for you. Now, I'm gonna give it to Jada. If y'all ever seen the show Gotham, Jada plays an immaculate, amazing bad guy. She's a mob boss.
Yeah, Fisheye Mooney.
Yes, Fish. She's the reason why Penguin is the way Penguin is. And the thing about it is, she's not somebody running up on dudes and 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 just doing all kind of crazy stuff. She's known because she knows how to woo people into following her.
Mm-hmm.
See, I can get behind that type of. See, that's a mob boss or a villain. or a role I could see because I'm not expecting her to run up on Batman. I'm just
Well,
not
people
expecting.
have to fit. People have to fit their role, and it just like you're talking about the action side of the Equalizer, but think about this: she's supposed to be a retired CIA operative, right?
Right.
Where was she operating in her career in the CIA?
So I
Uh,
feel
uh, you know,
Marco.
a, a 6 foot tall, 200-pound black woman. Where was she
Hey,
operating
I
at?
don't know where the fuck was she blending in at. I don't know where was she blending in at. There's
Only on the
no way.
African continent. All her assignments were in Africa. That'd be the only way, or Jamaica, or Barbados. She
I'm
didn't have
sorry.
no
Even
assignments in Europe.
I'm sorry, dude. Even then, Queen Latifah sticks out like a fucking sore thumb. So
Well,
we're not shaming Queen Latifah. You know what I'm saying? She is a beautiful woman. But there's no way listen. I would need to see the agency that literally was saying, yeah, that's like, and this is just for Kev. Where the hell can Kev go that he's gonna blend in Moscow, in Europe or any country? Where can Kev honestly go that he's not? I would love to see. I, I
I'm
would,
telling you, I used to want to be when I was younger. My whole dream was to be in the CIA until I got older and started looking at being able to get in. That was my dream. But then I started realizing you're right, because where would they assign me as a clandestine officer? I'll tell you where. I'd be, hello, my name is Kevin. I am a merchant here in Somalia, and that's the only place I could be.
that's the
Somalia,
only place you can go.
Nigeria.
You might get you can probably go to the Philippines.
Yep. I can only blend in places where there is a black presence. But if I
Oh
show up
God,
in
yes,
Moscow
your
talking
logo.
about my name is Jack Smith, and I'm just a normal computer tech that wanted to live here in Moscow, the KGB is going to be all over me all the time.
I mean, it's rough. This is like I said, we're looking at it right now. I know in Marvel, we're gonna shout out. They're gonna be their first openly gay marriage, or relationship, which is fine. A lot of stuff is gonna start be coming down the pipe. And that's nothing wrong, with
Well, the
sexuality.
problem with
It's
that
just
is
a
when you transition characters who don't have a history of it, you only gave Marvel this man, Bobby. Now,
right.
I remember with the whole other
You're Borgin, brother.
over his time. Oh,
You're
sorry.
Borgin.
It's probably losing. I have no power here, by the way. We're blacked out.
Okay. I think Kev is getting his stuff together. Um, Let me read this. No, it's not. They try to do that with the Pirates of the Caribbean with a female lead character, a Mary Sue. They need to make their own franchise. And that was pretty interesting because when we watched Elizabeth from Pirates of the Caribbean, now this kind of threw me off about Elizabeth. Now Elizabeth was some hot chick that was in a royal, family. Now I understood, you know, the boy, the goddamn
Well,
dude who was Will. Now I understand Will knowing how to fight because that was his job to make goddamn swords. I get Will, but all of a sudden I'm seeing Elizabeth is able to fight on par with all the pirates and soldiers in the world, and I'm like, wait, what the fuck is going on, Elizabeth? You went from prissy, Disney princess to somehow you can fight and clean clock and knock men out with one punch. And I'm like, what kind of Babylonian
well,
bullshit is this?
they, she was, but she
What'd you say?
that wanted to marry her.
Oh, you're on
So
board. Now you are Borgin, bro. You're Borgin. it would have
Like
one person
because
one person said it would have crashed the series. Another person says yes. Yes, they do, real friends. They are crashing. They are erasing history and running franchises, ruining franchises. Like, and see, that's the thing about it. Like, again, if it makes sense, I'm all for it. And if it's good, like, shout out to this. If y'all remember the movie Rogue One, Star Wars movie, if y'all remember that movie Rogue One, check it out. It's a really good Disney movie. It's a really good franchise. It's a really good Star Wars movie. And Rogue One proved you didn't need Jedi's, you didn't need no fancy powers, you didn't need nothing crazy. All it was about a thief, a a thief that literally um she was just known like, yo, I'm just trying to get through. She wasn't doing nothing crazy. She didn't have no kind of cool powers. All she knew how to do was just sneak in. And the fact about it was the movie did very well. I believe, yeah, I think Rogue One did very well. It came out pretty good. Like, even though that they
yes,
all, I believe they all died.
yeah, it did.
Everyone died. However, it was respected because they proved you like they never made it where the main character she was putting down her counterparts. Like, oh, for me as a woman, I do this and y'all men are stupid. She never did that. She was like, yo, like I think her part the guy who was like an ace pilot, they were very copacetically cool. They had the insecurities and stuff. And that doesn't make the woman weak. Her father did make the Death Star weapon. Right. Her father did make it, but she knew the code. She actually knew the code. And she was the only one that could actually get there. And the thing about it was the thing that was iconic about the Rogue One movie. That she said this. She was like, it's little pieces like us that make the big one, that make the big play. Now, some people probably be like, well, that don't make no sense when she said that. No, she was proving that you don't have to be no Jedi or no high tier commander or nothing like that. You just gotta be at the right moment at the right time. If you listen to what Donnie Yen was saying throughout the whole movie, he was like, yo, it's all about the pieces. And that's literally how a movie or a show should work, was about the pieces. Not where, all of a sudden it makes no like when I see them having it where the last Transformer movie, they were having it where I think they're starting to have it now where there's a female little girl, somehow she can connect the Transformers and shit. And I was like, what? And I said, but then again, I said, okay, let me stop now. Because predominantly, and Kev can let me know if I'm wrong, Transformers for the most part, they talk to kids more than they do with adults. I don't know why, but I think they figured out that kids are a lot more easier to deal with. Um, hold on. Women are a minority. Jokes on me. Um, it's just one of those things where it's more easier to deal with the women. Now let's bring up that the Transformers series. Boy, oh boy. The first season, the first time with Terminator, that was golden. That was great. Okay. I could deal with that. Number two, okay, there's a kid here. You know what I'm saying? Sarah Connor, crazy. Terminator, fine. Algorithm, okay. Then all of a sudden it starts to change. Starts changing. Now all of a sudden, all of Terminator is now about illegal immigrants crossing the goddamn border and goddamn women. I'm trying to figure out what the hell does this have to do with Skynet you have a Mexican Terminator that literally can run. That was his best power, was running. Then you got the savior of the world was Hispanic. This is during the time of the election or of the talking points of Dreamers. Mind you, they did bring that slick shit up during the movie. Was Dreamers. Now, no, Vida, we can pull at that. Let me finish. Let's finish up with Transformers. Now, the fact that they were pushing it where the hero was I guess, a cyborg transformer, and that somehow she was trained by women and only for women to save women. And I was like, man, fuck Transformers. Y'all done said all the men suck, kiss ass, and literally it's just about the women. It was so interesting because they decimated the role of being of the men and made it predominantly about the women. And see, this is where the protection piece goes out the window because in Terminator, who was always teaching Sarah how to protect John? Granted, Sarah was a badass. Hell, they even have a show called Terminator, Sarah Connor Chronicles. But however, they like, well, shit, fuck the men. It's all about goddamn, um, culture shock.
Well, look at every TV show. Wow. Every combo or these shows have men that are goofy, nerdy, like, the mental was on our castle. It's always like some quirky guy, and that cop that's like, the detective, or the they're always that cop show
Ooh, Kev,
with
your
Nathan
boy
Fillion.
better. Go ahead. You're good. You're good.
Because we have no power.
Okay, yeah, you're saying you have no power. That's why it's acting up. Okay, I got your family. Like I said,
Uh,
somebody says Underworld Resident Evil did well with female leads. Yes, they did very well. Even though they started giving goddamn Alice like every fucking power, but I'm like, I don't even know why you need people because literally you're like, I don't even know what like Resident Evil did a really good job with that, where it had that creepiness, and it also had it where the woman, I guess she had powers, but for the most part, 1 and 2, those are good. It always amazed me about that. I'm saying, I think somebody trying to. Yep. When it came to Underworld, listen, everybody knows Underworld was like Blade and doggone another good movie. It was like it was like sometimes Underworld it did well for me. Like I just took it as she was a vampire who wanted penis. That's that's what I took it as. But she was happy to get her werewolf penis or hybrid demon penis. And and so we're looking at this as the evolution of how women um and men are changing up. And we got to ask where's it going to lead to? Mm-mm-mm. Only thing
well,
I ask
it's
is
going to
people.
lead to no male role models for boys.
Kev, you got to fix. You said it's going to lead to no more male role models.
For boys, yeah.
I agree. Go ahead. Go ahead. I know you have some stuff you want to say. There's a few people that, and shout out to everybody that's coming into the chat. Like I said, somebody says Kyle Reese was teaching her everything she needed to know. Megatron and around villages. Yeah.
Yep.
Like I think this is the big issue, man. And we're gonna have to do a piece later on about has equality has equality killed feminism?
Or
This is
has
gonna be
feminism killed equality?
okay, I'll write that down. Has feminism killed equality?
Because it's not about being equal anymore, is it?
Okay, you there?
I'm losing you, Joe. Back and forth.
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure. I'm trying to make sure, but I know you're bargaining a little. Somebody says the Battlestar Galactica, and shout out to everybody who's coming through. It seems like we do have um, a good nerd and blurred conversations with people coming in. Like for me, I'm a big anime junkie, and for those of us who watch anime, there's always been a strong female. Um, you know, there's just always been a strong female presence as a role in anime. But I don't like it when. Could y'all imagine one day seeing Gambit? But Gambit, it's no longer from Louisiana. He literally has X, Y, and Z going on with him. Like, I'm not sure y'all can imagine if they changed up Gambit. What happened if they turned Gambit into a transgender? Hmm? What I mean, y'all gotta take this into perspective of these. Now, I was able to deal with Batman being black. I was able to deal with that, but I also was talking on accountability of these writers. That's something that's going to be happening for a long time. I'm a Star Trek guy. Two best captains. Well, see, now Star Trek, I believe it's a black female captain running the goddamn ship now. We don't even know what the now every captain. If and Kev can let me know this now.
She's
He
not
said, "Don't put that either."
she's not the captain. She's the first officer, but the main
Oh
star.
God, they need to kick her ass off.
So she's still running the ship as if she's a captain.
Do you hear the blasphemy that came out of your mouth? A ship not being run by a captain. Every ship. Like listen, every ship has a goddamn captain, but literally the you got the first mate running the damn ship. I'd be like, bitch, have you lost your damn mind? Like we're going back to command. Like we've had times where the first hand where either Kirk was gone or James was gone, Kirk was gone, or one of the
Picard.
captains was not Picard. If the captain wasn't there, we understand their first would step up, and that has happened before, where there different people had to step up when the captain wasn't there. But don't
But
do shit like
the captain makes the final decision. Picard said, "Give me ideas," and then he would be like, "Let's do this. Make it so." You don't have the first officer always making the decisions and the captain going, "Sure, do what she said."
well, according to social culture, and that's how it works. According to social culture, fuck, fuck goddamn Star Trek logic. It's all about goddamn. Could y'all imagine goddamn the hobbits being a bunch of fat goddamn Puerto Ricans trekking around and shit?
Oh, they
Y'all
raised
went on.
hell about that. That there are no black people in the Lord of the Rings movies.
Hey, that's a damn lie. They got elves. There's black elves.
Yes, but they mean
y'all
they
gotta
meant
read
they
the
meant
Hobbit.
the main characters are all white. You don't see there was no like Samwise was not black or Legolas.
No, that's true. It's part of the financial coup, empower women in churches, employment, sports, and now film. Men are running on spaces. Um, Time to put the morality cap
Oh,
cap
Moriarty.
on
He's
Moriarty
saying
cap on.
he
Well,
says we
see, here's
gotta
the thing.
we're gonna have to start fighting back from the shadows like Sherlock Holmes.
Now, see, oh, shout out to Moriarty because there's so many things we could pull out of that. Um, and see, here's the thing about it. Okay, when they did an all-female Ghostbusters, it made no goddamn sense. That shit bombed horribly. Now, right now, they're trying to do a kids Ghostbusters movie where the kids are the Ghostbusters, and I'm curious on how that's gonna work. But they're gonna have it where like the kids are going to be learning on the fly how to be Ghostbusters. Like
Well,
they're
you
not
have some of the
Ghostbusters.
others coming back though, because it's a direct sequel to the Ghostbusters 2. They're skipping 2016 like it didn't exist.
Thank God.
And that was the big problem with 2016. You had people wanted a third Ghostbusters movie, but with our characters, and they were like, we're going to do our own thing. And F your old Ghostbusters. We don't care about that man shit. We're doing woman Ghostbusters.
Right, and let that make sense with the Ghostbuster. The originals were in your damn movie. You didn't even know who the freak they were, but you're using their shit. You know that
Yeah, it
blows
was
my
just a
mind.
remake with women. Nobody wanted a remake. We wanted a sequel.
No. Even better. Men in Black with the female lead role. When they had the female lead, whoever that chick was, oh God, like that movie tanked. That movie tanked.
Well, because again, they couldn't help themselves. There are female men in black operatives, especially if you watch even in the first movie, but
Right.
they couldn't help themselves. And they had to make her the smartest. Like, she didn't get selected. She figured out they existed, found a way in, and was always the smartest person in the room versus like Will Smith. He was an average guy who got brought in because he had a talent that they saw and he had to learn the ropes of being a Men in
Right.
Black.
He had
When
to
they
earn it.
bring, and
He had
that's
to
the big
earn it.
problem, is that when they introduce women into what I guess you would call masculine spaces, they can never start them out at the level that other men would start at in these types of roles. Learning to become a character, just like Star Wars. Luke had to learn to be a Jedi over 3 films. He had to get better. He took some L's. Rey
Yeah, he
takes
did.
no L's and is the most powerful Jedi ever from the start to finish.
Right.
Like Rey, I mean, Luke, he fought Vader and lost his hand and damn near got killed.
Lost his hand, got beat up, got thrown in the trash shooting shit. Um,
Yeah.
and literally, I mean, and lost like what? I mean, he just kept. Luke was taking L's for like a goddamn two movies. Like, I mean, he like they might get away. Like the first movie, okay, they were okay with. No, he lost Obi-Wan. Second movie, he lost Han and lost his hand. Third movie, he was like, okay, I get it. I got what's going on.
Yeah, he had to go. He had to go train with Yoda to develop his skills enough. And even then, Yoda was like, "You're not ready." Rey defeated Kylo every time they met, even though
I did
Kylo
not
was
say.
not only a powerful Sith, Kylo was also trained by Luke first, and then by Snoke.
But she had no training and yet she beat him.
Yeah, the first time they meet, he's trying to use his powers to read her mind, and she blows him out of there. And in the first fight they have, she wins. Every fight that they have in all three movies, she dominates him. So how do you respect a bad guy that can't even win against somebody who's never held a lightsaber before?
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I just
Okay.
hello.
So you guys, we like I said, we're working with Kev. I know right now, y'all y'all. We're just hoping the best for our friends in Texas. That they're right now with the power, so that's why I'm kind of taking it slow with this show. But I know my partner, Kev, I want us to get back into talking about comics, shows, movies, anime, and different stuff that is nerd and blurred. So I'm definitely getting back to the swing of doing that. Then Kylo of sacrificed himself for Ray. The end. Yeah, like I said, there was major simping going on, and I couldn't even stomach my way through it.
Yeah, he by the third movie, he was in love with her.
Shit, I can't. Like I said, the movie made no damn sense. Again, we're watching where a lot of these things are speculating and coming to fruition, and we got to be ready. You know. So, other than that, you guys, we're gonna definitely kick it up some more. Please put in the comments if y'all do enjoy this talk. Let me know. I will get in touch with Kev. Give us some ideas of shows to watch to get involved with, and we'll definitely start watching them to start sitting down to do another take. Um, and I know Kev. I know he has some stuff that he wants to talk about, and so that's what we're going to be doing, especially on our gaming and animation. All right, guys. BMT. I'm signing out. Peace and thank you, Clever Kev.